Hey everybody, I'm going to show you how to do the soap carving. We watched a video on Tuesday in class by someone else, but I'm going to walk you through the process here. You got 2 bars of ivory soap in your bag, and you're going to peel open 1 bar of the soap. And I would suggest that you go ahead and get a bowl of some sort or a plate that you can work within, because that way you can catch all of your scrap mess in that bowl. So you can see I've been carving in my bowl. This is my finished W project, and here's my elevation map that I started it with. So I'm just going to reproduce that again. I'm going to use a clean bowl and a new bar of soap. So first things first, I need to first trace it. And I don't have a needle tool like she did, so I'm just going to use my pencil and carefully trace out over my elevation map that is the size of my soap bar. If you're not sure about elevation maps and how to make those, look at the earlier slides in week 10 slide doc. Okay, it's a little bit hard to see it, so I'm gonna retrace those lines. Make them a little bit deeper with my pencil. So now you can see those lines, and I have to do the exact same thing on the back. Now, if you're not making something that's the same on both sides, my W, or if it were an E, you could see it would be the same. So you might have to do what she did in the video and reverse your map. That's why I had you create the front and the back elevation plan. That way you can work it out. Think about this side as the rear view mirror view. So now I'm just using that same elevation map, and I'm going to dig a little bit deeper with my pencil. To get, again, those lines to show up. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to get some tools. So I've got my pencil, I've got a knife, I've got a chopstick here, and this is a peeler like you would use for peeling an apple. I also have a grapefruit knife, which has kind of cool serrated edges, and I have a butter knife. So those are all things that I can use. As you can see, I'm already making a mess, so you may want to also put a piece of newspaper underneath. So I'm going to take my knife, and I want you to do this while you are being supervised by adults. And I'm going to start to pull out small sections. Okay, so you can see now that I've got a little triangle cut out of that. I'm going to reverse it, do the same thing on the opposite side. And just pull out a small section. I'm not actually going all the way through the bar yet. I'll do that later. I'm going to do the same thing here at the top, and I'm just going to start with a small section. Again, I'm not going all the way down. I'm just trying to get started here up at the top with these small triangular wedges. So you can see in the top view there, I've just got a little bit of it out. Okay, so now I'm going to work from the top and do the same thing, because I know that I have some negative space up here on the top. So I'm just going to continue to go back and forth, and I'm moving my soap, spinning it around as I pull sections out of it. My fingers are nowhere near this blade. I'm going to come back down here and do the same on the bottom. Don't try to get a big chunk out all at once because the bar will break. Just take off small pieces. Now you can see that I kind of have that bottom of the W wedged out. I'm going to take a little bit off the sides of the legs of the W there. Do the same thing on the opposite side. So of course you're carving away. This is the subtractive process. You're using a block, which in this case is soap, and you're subtracting things from it, whereas the sculptures we've been working on so far have all been additive. Okay, I'm going to go back to the top now, and I'm going to work again on taking out some small sections. I'm going to be careful to leave the middle of my W alone. I'm not ready to go all the way down there yet. Just pulling small pieces out, and that soap is soft. It's just going to flex right out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to narrow that down, but I'm not going anywhere near that middle piece of the W yet. Just continuing to take pieces off. Here's where the peeler can come in handy if you've got a peeler. This is just ivory soap, and it's very similar to the stuff that you use to wash your dishes. You might even have Ivory brand dish soap. So if your adult says, you can't use my peeler for that, it can easily be washed. It's food safe, no big deal. If for some reason you don't have a peeler at your house, you could go to the Dollar Tree and grab one for $1 if you want to, but this is optional. You can see how this comes in handy though to kind of smooth edges and corners. I can also use just a stick or the side of a pencil to do some smoothing. Again, as I do that, you can see the soap dust kind of coming off and hitting the bowl. So I'm just smoothing out my sides now so you can't see quite as rough a texture. And again, working all 4 corners here of that bar of soap, because when we're done, we want it to look like a sculpture, not a bar of soap. It's going to be photographed, right? And then it's possible from the photograph that no one will even know this was a soap carving. So you're just doing a sculpture. This is similar to the process that you would use with carving wood, if you've ever whittled, or with rock carving, which would be much more difficult, of course, because rock is not going to be this soft. Some of you have had clay with me in studio, and you remember what it was like to carve some details into the clay surface. What I'm doing here is I'm just scraping off the brand name Ivory, and I'm